Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another Journaling on a Budget video. And today we're going to talk about books to choose to use in your art journaling. Now everyone journals different, so everyone will use their books differently, but I just wanted to give you a few tips of things to look for when you're looking for a book. So now I have this cookbook, which I actually took out of my kitchen. But in this cookbook, a lot of things go from one page to another, and they're quite large in the space that they take up. So even the pictures, that are in color are full page pictures, and they're okay. So, but the thing is that what are you going to do with this whole page? Now you could put it as a whole page in a journal as the background, but then you're going to cover it up with things. And I kind of like things to, I don't know that I want to say make sense, but I want to be able to kind of see what I've done. So I just got these yesterday, and this is an awesome set of cookbooks, and it's from the 50s or 60s. But in the older cookbooks, the way that the recipes weren't as detailed. And the recipes, a lot of times, here you have scalloped oysters, and it starts here and it ends here, and it even tells you who sent in this recipe and where they're from. This was from Margaret Nelson in Del Mar, Delaware, and that's really cool. And so in your older cookbooks, they have things like that where you could cut out just this piece and make that into a tag, put it on a tag, put it on a page in a spot where you're not going to cover it up so it actually would show. Now you'll ink it or whatever, but maybe put a little flower on there or something, but you can use that whole thing. And to me, I really like the ability to do that. Now I can use a whole page if I want to as a backing page, but I have the ability to cut these into pieces versus, these that are quite large that, yes, I could cut out this recipe, but that's an awfully big recipe. What am I going to do with it? And if I cut it into a tag, well, you're only getting half of it. So, so I'm just showing you some things to think about when you're purchasing your books, and, you'll purchase the ones that you want. This is a School's Out. It's a Great Vacation and Riddles. In this one, it's got like little... This is crossing and double crossing. But anyways, it's got this little part that you could cut out here. It has knock-knock jokes in it that you could cut out the knock-knock jokes. And this is the one knock-knock joke right here. Here's another one here. So you could cut out each of the little jokes by themselves and put them on a little tag or something. And that would be really cute, or across the top of a page. So that's a good book. And then, like when it comes to flower books and nature books, I have this Living Trees book. Cover's gorgeous. It has some really pretty pictures in it, and I have used it. But a lot of the pictures are black and white, so that's something to think about. Do you like to use black and white or not? Now, you may do a black and white journal and they'd work great, but would you put them in a regular journal? Maybe you would. The other thing is, you could color these with your colored markers and with your colored pencils, so they would be useful that way if you wanted them in color or in black and white. But a lot of the pictures are very large. So what am I going to do with this large picture? Now, if I cut it off here, it might make a very pretty tag, or maybe even right up the middle here. But you'd have to kind of look at that and say, would that work for me? I tended, when I first started to buy books, it was like, look at these gorgeous flowers. They are very pretty. And I could use these in pieces, but the picture all in itself is a little bit too large unless you want to use it as a whole page, which you could use it like that too. There are a lot of pages of words in here and a lot of black and white pictures. So the choice would be, how do I want to use this? Now I have used this piece was over... Part of this tree was over here, and I have used a piece of this, and it looks okay. This is a really pretty flower, would be perfect size for a tag. So this book to me is kind of in the middle. I don't necessarily like all of the black and white pictures because I don't want to take the time to color them, and I don't use a lot of black and white unless I'm doing an actual black and white journal. So, this page here, it's very pretty, but it's too large for me to do anything with. Now you could fold this into an envelope. Now the other thing is, this picture is colored on this side. Let's see what the other side looks like. And the other side also is colored. So this would be pretty to make an envelope out of, because the whole envelope would be pretty inside and out. So, so this book to me, it's kind of in the middle. This is a gorgeous picture, but I have no use for the whole thing. And, and so that's the one thing when I first started buying is I didn't think about the size of the pictures. Could I use them or not? And the fact that there's like, oh, there's a lot of pictures in here, but they're black and white. That's sassafras. We have a lot of that in our yard. I love a sassafras tree. So this one is kind of in the middle for me. Now, here is another. This one is The Complete Guide to Garden Flowers. And this book is got a lot of beautiful, beautiful pictures in it. And it has a lot of different sizes of pictures, things that you can use individually for tags. And it's just page after page after page of flowers. Even the pages with the writing on them still have pictures of flowers. So to me, this was an awesome find. Now, I have to say that when you're looking for books, I probably pick up and look at 20 books for every one book that I find that works for what I want it for. So, so don't think you're just going to run out there and grab a flower book and say, oh, I got a flower book. You're going to get home and it's like got 10 pages of flowers in it and the rest is all writing. This one here also has a lot of really nice pictures that can be used for tags and tuck spots and pockets. And, and this is another really nice book. But if it was just a few of those pages and then a whole lot of these pages, and this one's, not quite half and half. There are more pictures. It's even got bugs in it if you're going to do a bug journal. So that's another really good one. And the best find that I found just yesterday was, this is a Teleflora workbook. Now, this was at my secondhand store, and it must have come from the flower shop. But this book is just full of how they lay out all of their flowers. Now, these vases could be cut out and put on a tag. The only thing about these books is this is kind of like it's kind of like a plastic type paper. So I think for this paper, I would have to probably sew it. So that's something to think about. Because if you're not going to use the front and the back, if you want the back side to be able to journal on, it's pretty with the flowers on both sides. Would make just a pretty like tuck-in or something. But to glue it, I'm not so sure what kind of glue would stick to this plastic. You would have to test that out or use your sewing machine to sew a piece of paper to the back and to put a journaling spot on. Other great books to have, dictionaries, old dictionaries especially because they have beautiful yellowed pages. You can cut out the pictures and use those to make little embellishments for your journals. You can find the word that you want to put in a journal and cut out that specific word. And now this dictionary is actually one of my weight dictionaries. I use this to hold things down. I cannot cut this one up, but I have found some old ones that I do cut up, and dictionaries are a great thing to add to your journals. So the other thing is that you never know, what your book is going to say. So, you kind of want to be careful about the types of books that you get. Now this is Parade of Animal Kingdom, and when I got this book I thought, wow, look at all of these pictures in this book. Okay, some of them are really cool. This one with the seahorses, I will use that, and I will probably paint it with watercolor or with markers, but every picture in this book is black and white, and there's a lot of words. So am I going to get as much use out of this book as another? Probably not. And so that's one more book in my stash that I may not really have room for. This one is Animal Wonderland. I loved the cover. It's very vintage. The other thing is, don't forget, take your little pockets out. But this book, some of the pictures are very large. It has a lot of writing in it. And, the pictures are not as crisp and as clear. And I thought that it was great when I bought it. But, then now as I look at it, he's really cute and I will use him. But you don't want to buy a whole book for just a couple cute pages unless it's something you've just really been looking for. That's a really pretty picture, but look at how large that is. Now I could cut it this way and make a tag out of it. Always look at what you can do. But when you're trying to buy books, especially once you get a few, think about it then after you've started to really collect them. will I really use this? How much of this will I use? Because you can really wind up with so many books that, it's just a little bit too much. Now, this one has a lot of beautiful pictures in it. And this book here, I will probably use because a lot of this artwork can be, this is a whole building, but I can split this artwork off of it and use that, and I will use that. I love these statue things, and and I can very possibly use those on something. So this book here, and it's just full of pictures, I will probably use. Now, you might not use a book like this. So think about that. What is it that you like? Do you like flowers? Do you like structures? What do you like? And then go from there. Now, I got, this is a opera book, and this is just the most gorgeous book, and I use this a lot. And, you may say, well, why would you, cut up and tear up and, that's ruining books. You have to make your own decisions on that. The way that I look at it is, no one was probably going to buy this book to read or to use to play. Now, possibly they might have. But if it was going to sit there and eventually get thrown into the garbage, I would prefer to put it in a new journal that people are going to look at and have it be used that way versus thrown in the landfill. Now, these are some books that you have to be careful about. Reader's Digest books, great covers. If you're going to buy it to use the cover, great. And once you've used that cover, you have all of these pages. Now, they do have very few picture pages in them, and some of those picture pages you might want, but there is a lot of pages here. So if you're not going to use this as a cover, then don't buy it just for the pages, because the problem is that it will take you forever to use these pages. You get 2 or 3 of these books, you could probably craft with it for the rest of your life. Here's another one. This book I bought because the pages were nice and yellow, and they have a really beautiful feel to them. But again, these are pages that are written on. You have to be careful when you're putting words on something, at least I do, because I don't want it to say something that somebody actually might try and read, and have it be something that I wouldn't want in my own journal. So, it's just pages. So when you buy books that have things you want in them, you usually wind up with enough writing pages that you don't have to buy just plain books for writing, or with writing on them. Now, this one I thought was really cool, Black Holes and Time Warps, and I got it. I was in a hurry, and there is not a lot in here. These are mostly writing pages. Some of the pictures in here I would use. I thought there would be more space pictures in here, and it's like, bleh. Now, this is a really big, really heavy book, and it takes up space, and I probably will not use it very much. So I shouldn't have bought this book. But, we go out there and we just think, well, we need to get books for our journals, and we start buying, and then all of a sudden it's like, I just have too many books, and what am I going to do with them? This one I got at the Dollar Tree. I bought it specifically because it had the ripped edges on the pages, and I loved the feel of it, and we were out of town, and I wanted something to craft with, so I went and spent $1, and I bought this book, and it does have really nice paper, but now I have a lot more pages to use. Another one, the Disney version. Another one that I bought because of the ripped edges on the pages, because I just loved the look of that, and but it's just words. So now I'm going to guess this is a book, about Disney. So I'm hoping that there won't be any bad words in here, and so that they will be, it'll be a cool book to use. The cover, the cover's only okay. So it's not really necessarily even a cover that's, beautiful that I want to use for a journal. So, so that's the one thing that I just wanted to say was think about what you're buying. Don't buy too many. I have a ton of these that I actually have had forever because they look pretty in your bookcase. And I used to read them because they were short stories, and when my kids were little, I never had time to read a whole book. And so I just wanted to show you some of my favorites, and I'm not so sure if I've already shown you these or not, but this book is a identification and price guide of artwork, and this artwork is all black and white, but it's gorgeous. I love these, and I will definitely use these in a black and white, or I will color them. I would not copy these. and use them. I wouldn't copy anything out of a book and use it. There's copyright issues, and I'm not even so sure what the copyright laws are when it comes to collaging and journaling and making tags out of books. I kind of look at it as I bought the book, I can kind of do what I want with it, except I can't copy it and sell it. So this is a postage stamp one, and this just has tons of postage stamps in it that you can actually, you know, glue onto cardstock, because this is a little bit thin paper, but you could glue that on cardstock and cut it out as a stamp and make tons of embellishments. Even the words on these pages are really cool to look at. So they would make great tags and that type of thing. So, you know, that's just the type of thing. Look at the print. Look at the font. If it's really normal and blah and you know, then do you really want it as a background? I got these two yesterday and thought they were awesome. And our library sells old books, and they sell them for 25 cents a piece, and that's where I got these. So that's the other thing. You know, look at your libraries, look at the Salvation Army. They have good prices. You know, any kind of secondhand store. But don't walk into an antique store and go, this is a gorgeous book, and they're selling it to you for $10. Keep your eyes open at your secondhand stores where you can get a book for 50 cents or $1. But this book has just awesome old pictures in it. And this one was about trains. I actually got this because I thought I would make something for Papa because he loves trains. So, but you know, it's just one of those things where this book I looked at and I thought there is a lot in this book that I will use. And that's why I bought it. And here is the last one that I'm going to show you. And I mean, just look at the cover. I mean, isn't that just awesome? I could cut that off and use that on the cover of a journal. So, and then it just has, and again, it has black and white pictures, but it has a lot of just wonderful, wonderful color pictures. And I will be able to use these in my journals for different things. So now these great big full page spreads, you know, those will be hard to use, but they could be used for a cover. That would be really cool. Or they could be used as the center of an insert, but this would be an awfully large book because, you know, with it saying Ringling Brothers on it, I wouldn't want to cut it down at all. I could fold it in. That would be cool. So put it in the center of a signature and then fold the sides in so when they get there, they can fold it out and see this wonderful, wonderful picture here. So I just kind of wanted to go through and, you know, just talk to you about collecting books because I can't stop buying them, but I really am trying to be very cautious on what it is that I buy. You know, what will I use? What can I use? These have gorgeous pictures. These have all of the stamps. These have all of the little pictures. I mean, these are my favorites. Cookbooks that have recipes that you actually could fit on a tag. Just think if you were doing a food journal and, you know, you could put all these recipes in here for someone. You could go through, you could ask them what's their favorite kind of food and go through and pick out recipes that you could put on journaling tags on the outside, and they could journal on the back. So, and fun things for kids, you know, but remember that, is it going to fit in a book? This is a small enough book that even if I have to use a whole page, I could probably use that as I could use this as a tag. So, and then remember, books that are just words. First off, be careful, what is the book? You know, for the words that are in it. And then secondly, how many books do you need that just have words? How many pages do you need sitting around that are just words? Are you not going to get enough out of the extra pages out of your good books that you need to buy a few, but just don't buy too many? So, and if you really are going to use the covers, buy them for the covers. But if you don't think you're really going to gut it and use the cover, then don't get it for the cover. You know, I originally thought that I was going to do a lot with the covers, and I don't know that I will. I think I like making my own covers. So before you... Oh, Before you buy books for the covers thinking you're going to journal in them, try one. See if you like journaling inside the cover of an already done book, an already done cover. But thank you very much. I really do appreciate you stopping by. Papa's calling, so I have to go. But I hope that this was at least a little bit informative for you and gave you some ideas on things to look for. And remember, you're going to look at 20 books before you find one. Don't just grab something because it has, this has like this page, and it's got another page in the back that looks like that, and all the rest of it's writing. Unless those pictures are super special to you, go on. Look at the next book. Find one that has a lot of pages in it. Now, you may not be able to find a book like this, but I have found all of these books either at my library or at the Salvation Army, and I've not paid more than $1 for any of them. The hardcovers at the Salvation Army are $1, and that is the most I've paid for any of these books. So, it takes time to look, but remember, looking is part of the fun. Finding that perfect book is part of the fun, not just finding a book. So, thank you very much. I hope that you have fun shopping for your books, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.